We need more gardens.
Yep, we're pretty much out of space.
We're out of space, so watch what we're going to do about that. And don't forget
to like, comment, and subscribe.
We're putting it at the beginning of the video this time because that's what YouTube says to do. But no, we're going to be working up what was, I guess, the winter pen for the horses.
Part of it.
Part of it. And yeah, we still have pounds and pounds of potatoes to plant. We still have peppers to plant, beans.
And some various other things.
Yes, so
that we'd like to get planted.
We'll have to see how far we get today. But
we do have a bit of a plan, so we're going to go with it.
Well, what we call a plan. It never, ever goes to plan, though. But let's show them the space we're talking about. So you can see out here, this is just outside the back of the barn. That's our little cow paddock. I guess, and horse paddock, and whatever needs it.
Whatever pasture.
Whatever needs it. But over here is where we're talking. And this was the pen that the horses had over the winter. And as you can see, the grass ain't coming back really. We're getting lots of weeds, lots of burrs. So when you need a garden, this will be the spot. It's good and fertilized. It had lots of horse manure that's broke down into the ground. So this is definitely going to be a tilled garden. We're not doing no-till, that's for sure. This has been, prior to us being here, it was years of horses on it, and we've had horses on it, so this is going to be hard ground. So hopefully our tiller can handle it and do a reasonably quick job. We've been fortunate that it's been wet the last few days, so I think it will probably go okay. But we're going to get started, and we'll bring you back when we can show you just how nice this dirt is. So we still had a trough for the cows in this area that we want to till, and we dumped it, and you can see Pepper here is making a wallow right next to a post that we just put in to build a fence. But I don't know if you can see it on the video here, but she is so close to having them babies. We know we're less than 2 weeks, so we're watching her pretty good. So progress is being made. Chris has been working hard on the tilling. Unfortunately, after years of horses, this is packed so hard, and because it's been packed so hard, it's super dry. So as you can see, we've got the sprinkler out, and we're going to wet it a bit and see if it makes a little difference. Basically, we're going by example here. This is where we dumped the water trough, and we were able to till not too terribly. Hopefully, that means the same thing will happen the rest of the way down here. But the nice thing is we've come up with a plan, haven't we, Chris? He's taking a break in the shade. So while Chris has been busy tilling, I've been working away on our fence plans. You can see the old fence with the 2x4 on an angle there. We're basically working from that. On the other side, we're going with the cattle fence with a 10-foot gate. Then we've got our post in place for a 4-foot gate here on the garden. And we've got our hole dug for the next post at 10 feet. And corner post is going to be here at another 10 feet. So basically we will have a 24-foot wide garden by, I actually don't know how long it is. We're going to the other end of that chicken coop. I'll try and figure that out. So after pausing for a brief moment to do some math calculating, which is not quite our strong suit.
You're better at it.
So we've worked out that it's going to be about 24 foot by 68 feet. So all in all, not a bad garden to add to our repertoire of gardens already, but it's not going to be fully completed yet. We're basically going to try and get half tilled and then work on clearing the burdocks and stuff out of the other side for next year.
Well, we skipped ahead a little bit, and we've actually already started planting, but we're also not completely done working on the in-ground portion of this garden either. So we're going to show you kind of where we're at. So we are down at the east end of this soon-to-be garden, and first thing we actually planted, we have them in there, we just have to water them and cover them, is our red cranberry beans. And we decided, why not just lean these two trellisy things up against this chicken coop, and basically they can grow right to the top and beyond if they want. So we're kind of late, but we're not too late. It's kind of, this was a drop dead date to get these in.
Yeah, it's pushing the red cranberry beans to the max for our zone. They take 110 days to become the dried beans, so that's pushing us into October. So we're really hoping for a good fall, but at this point we might as well plant them anyways and see what happens, because if we didn't plant them, you could bet we'd have a beautiful fall.
And then we also have these Kershaw green striped squash. We actually only have 4 pots of them that we're putting in four hills. We didn't grow as many of these because they're not quite as versatile as some of the other squash.
They're kind of a replacement for pumpkin, and they don't keep as well. They do store pretty good. I mean, we've had them where we've kept them stored on the rack for well into the new year. I think it was January, February time, but they don't keep like you. It's not like the butternut where you could actually eat them in June the following year. These wouldn't keep that long.
No, and this is kind of what we had come up. So they're getting planted, and then we're going to plant our Doe Hill peppers down here in some fashion or another. On the far end, you can see down by the barn, we're worked up to this T-post. It's coming across here quite well. And we're going to start with our Yukon Gold potatoes and see how far we get with those. And then once we get that done, we'll just see if how much space is left.
And then we still have russet potatoes.
And a few other things
like
to get
30
in.
pounds of russet potatoes.
Well, we now have some
This
space.
is the Yukon Golds. We had 15 pounds. So we'll see how much space that takes up, and that'll let us know.
But we now have some space. It's getting late in the day, as per usual, and we've done pretty good considering we just started this today. But we'll show you kind of where we're going to leave off tonight, I guess. So we have 3 rows of Yukon Gold that are all planted and we did water them before we covered them. Then we have a gap which is left for some white navy beans that we're going to try growing. We're going to do 4 rows of them and see what kind of happens. That's an experiment.
Tomorrow's project for me to plant.
And then we have our Austrian crescents, which we have way more of them than we could possibly use, and we ended up with 4 pretty good. What are these about? How long are these?
These are each row is 13. Well, it's 14 feet, and then you got to take off a little bit on either end for the fence and the gap. So
about 13-foot long rows. 4 of them.
and
We've already got a few in some totes, and
we still have more.
we still have all of this left, which we think rather than allocate more in-ground space to these, we're going to do some more totes because we have at least 2, maybe 3 that we could put some of these in and see how they do.
So learning curve on this for us is we do not need to save as many potatoes as we saved.
No, we saved far too many potatoes.
Way too many potatoes.
But again,
and it's one of those things, can't bear to waste things. So we are finding spots for them. And I'm thinking we are going to have hundreds of pounds of potatoes.
If they do well.
Tomatoes as well, but potatoes, yeah.
Even if we're late, we'll have to see how the season goes from here on out. But that's pretty much it. These Austrian crescents did really well last year in the totes, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they do out here. And then of course we have the area down there that we got everything planted. So we have our Doe Hill peppers, our Kershaw striped squash, and the red cranberry beans. So basically between sort of this line and here, which is still a pretty good sized space.
It's about 36 feet long by the 14 feet wide.
Yeah, so that's what we have left to plant, and we're not making any more in-ground gardens this year. Even though
we say that.
Well, we say that, but even though the ultimate plan is to have a lot of this be garden as well, but that's a later job, a later project. So on that note,
we better go get our lost chick.
Well, pigs are happy, but yeah, we got to go do everybody else up before it gets dark.